it's like an onion. You have, your layers. Obviously at the very center there are the project management committee, and sometimes even within that there is a smaller group which is undefined and loose and changes as people's commitments change and as people's interest in project development changes. But you have a certain inner circle even within the PMC that's never formalized, but everybody in some sense knows that this small group is the real core of the project. So the PMC are obviously the people who have a vote in releases. They're the people who have, essentially they speak for the ASF when it comes to saying this is our software, this is good quality software, and we're willing to put it out there. Then you have the committers on the project who have obviously gotten over that barrier of, getting right access to our repositories and can put in code they want, and different projects do it different ways, whether it has to be reviewed before it ever gets into the repository or whether it can be checked in and then reviewed potentially by just a lazy consensus that if nobody objects then you're good to go. And outside the committers, then you have other contributors, maybe people who are on their way to being committers, or maybe people who will never be committers but simply come in every now and then. They might be using the project in their day job or whatever, and they fire off a bug report or they fire off a patch, and that's as much involvement as they ever want. They don't want to necessarily make the software, but they're willing to help out. And then outside that again you have our users, which in the case of something like HTTPD is just a huge class of people. There are just so many users, from huge corporate IT down to the guy who's got free hosting account somewhere, doesn't even know he's using Apache necessarily, but maybe wants to put in password protection on his website or whatever, and then comes along to our community to say, how can I do this? How can I get what I need out of the software that you've given me? And I think depending on what you're doing, it's important to understand those different layers and to know on which level you should be addressing or working. Sometimes to get things done, you simply need to join in with that inner core, and sometimes you can just fire things off from way out on the outside and it'll have the same effect.